Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're going to start our reading from, continue reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. We have been reading from chapter 20, where Lord is instructing Sanātana Gosvāmī. And we are on verse number 332. Bhukam karoti vachalam pangum langhete girim yat kripa tamham vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Verse number 332. Krite shuklas chatur bahu bahur jatilo balkalambarah Krishna jino pavitakshan bibhrid danda kamandalu. In Satyayug, the Lord appeared in a body colored white with 4 arms and matted hair. He wore tree bark and bore a black antelope skin. He wore a sacred thread and a garland of Rudraksha head beads. He carried a rod and a water pot, and he was a brahmachari. Verse number 333. Tretayam rakta varno sau chaturbahu stri mekalah hiranya keshas trayatma sruk sruvadi upalakshanaha. So Trayatma is whose form manifests the Vedas. Sruk, Sruva, Adi, Upalakshana means decorated with the sacrificial spoon, ladle, and so on. In the Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body that had a reddish hue and 4 arms. There were 3 distinctive lines on his abdomen, and his hair was golden. His form manifested the Vedic knowledge, and he bore the symbols of a sacrificial spoon, ladle, and so on. Verse number 334. Satya yuge dharma dhyan karaya shukla murti dhari kardam ke varadila yenho kripa kari. As the white incarnation, the Lord taught religion and meditation. He offered benedictions to Kardam Muni, and in this way he showed his causeless mercy. Kardam Muni, this is now the purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kardam Muni was one of the Prajapatis. He married Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, and their son was Kapil Deva. The Supreme Lord was very pleased with Kardam Muni's austerities, and he appeared before Kardam Muni in a whitish body. This happened in the Satya Yuga millennium, when people were accustomed to practicing meditation. So if somebody thinks that how do we know that what was the Lord's appearance in each yuga? So this verse which we just read now is the witness to that Kardam Muni, like he saw Lord in Satyuga, so he had seen how Lord was. How did the Lord appear? He appeared in white. Verse number 335. Krishna dhyana kare loka jnana adhikari Tretara dharma yajna karaye rakta varna dhari. In Satyuga, the people were generally advanced in spiritual knowledge and could meditate upon Krishna very easily. The people's occupational duty in Treta Yuga was to perform great sacrifices. This was induced by the personality of Godhead in his reddish incarnation. Verse 336. Krishna padarchana haya dvaparera dharma Krishna varane karaye loke Krishna charana karma. In Dwapar Yuga, the people's occupational duty was to worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, Lord Krishna, appearing in blackish body, personally induced people to worship him. Verse number 337. Dwapare Bhagwan Shyamaha Pita Vasa Nijayudah Shri Vatsadibhir Ankaischa Lakshanair Upalakshitah. In Dwapar Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow. He holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustubh jewel and the mark of Srivatsa. That is how his symptoms are described. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.27. The Shyama color is not exactly blackish. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur compares it to the color of the Atasi flower. It is not that Lord Krishna himself appears in a blackish color in all the Dwapar Yugas. In other Dwapar Yugas previous to the Lord Krishna's appearance, the Supreme Lord appeared in a greenish body by his own personal expansion. This is mentioned in the Vishnu Puran, Hari Vamsha and Mahabharata. So this is very interesting. Different use of Krishna in different Dwapar Yugas as well. Verse number 338. Namaste Vasudevaya Namaha Sankarshanaya Cha Pradyumnaya Aniruddhaya Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, expanded as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. This is a prayer from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.29, spoken by Karbhajan Muni when he was questioned by Maharaj Nimi, the king of Videha, about the incarnations in specific yugas and their method of worship. Karbhajana Muni was one of the 9 Yogendras, and he met the king to inform him about the future incarnations. So, each verse is actually telling us so much. It's actually full of wealth of knowledge and is enlightening as well. Karbhajan Muni, they say, was one of the 9 Yogendras or the Nav Yogendras, as we know. Verse number 339. E mantre dwapare kare Krishnarchana Krishna nama sankirtana Kali Yuger dharma. By this mantra, the people worship Lord Krishna in Dwapar Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the occupational duty of the people is to chant congregationally the holy name of Krishna. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.51, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta bandha param vrajet. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is simply that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from the material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Thus in Kali Yuga, one worships Lord Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To propagate this movement, Lord Krishna personally appeared as Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu, that is described in the following verse. Verse 340. Pitavarna dhari tabe kaila pravartana prema bhakti dila loke lena bhaktagana. In the age of Kali, Lord Krishna assumes a golden color and is accompanied by his personal devotees, introduces Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. By this process, he delivers love for Krishna to the general populace. Verse 341. Dharma pravartana kare vrajendra nandana preme gaye nache lok kare sankirtana. Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, personally introduces the occupational duty of the age of Kali. He personally chants and dances in ecstatic love, and thus the entire world chants congregationally, like we hear from everyone. This is our Yuga Dharma. Verse 342. Krishna Varanam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajneh Sankirtan Prayer Yajanti Hisu Medhasaha. In the age of Kali, another very important verse where we had just read, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Also see Adi Lila chapter 3 verse 52. Krishna Varanam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajnaya Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hisu Medhasa. So this is another very important verse. Now moving on to verse number 343. Which goes like this. Ar teen yuge dhyanadite yei phalahaya kali yuge Krishna name se phalapaya. In the other three yugas, Satya, Treta and Dwapar, people perform different types of spiritual activities. Whatever results they achieve in that way, they can achieve in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, though considered very low Yuga, Kali Yuga, among all the Yugas, still has been given some benediction that the Mahamantra can deliver everyone. Verse 344. कलेर दोष निधे राजन अस्ति हे एको महान गुणः कीर्तनाद एव कृष्णस्य मुक्त बंधः परम व्रजेत. I just read that. It's nevertheless nice repeated. Mighty King, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is that by simply chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Purport this as mentioned above. This verse is Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.51. Verse 345. Krite yat dhyayato vishnum tretayam yajito makhe dwapare paricharyayam kalau tadhari kirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can also be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.52. At the present moment in Kali Yuga, there are many false meditators who concoct some imaginary form and try to meditate upon it. It has become fashionable to meditate, but people know nothing about the object of meditation. That is explained here. Yad dhyayato Vishnu, one has to meditate upon Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Without referring to the Shastra, so-called meditators aim at impersonal objects. Lord Krishna has condemned them in the Bhagavad-Gita 12.5. Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadibhir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal features of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Not knowing how to meditate, foolish people simply suffer, and there is no benefit derived from their spiritual activities. The same idea expressed in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam can be found in the following verse from the Vishnu Puran 6.2.17, Padma Puran Uttarakhand 72.25, and Brihan Naradiya Puran 38.97. Verse number 346. Dhyayam krite yajan yajnais tretayam dwapare archayan yad apnoti tad apnoti kalau sankirtya keshavam. Keshavam is the pastimes and qualities of Lord Keshav. Whatever is achieved by meditation in Satya Yuga, by the performance of yajna in Treta Yuga, by the worship of Krishna's lotus feet in Dwapar Yuga, is also obtained in the age of Kali simply by chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. Of Lord Keshava, like it's been said in the verse 347. Kalim Sabha Jayanti Arya Guna Jnanah Sara Bhaginah Yatra Sankirtana Naiva Sarva Swartho Abhilabhyate. Those who are advanced and highly qualified and interested in the essence of life know the good qualities of Kali Yuga. Such people worship the age of Kali because in this age one can advance in spiritual life and attain life's goals simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.36, spoken by the great sage Garbhajana Rishi, one of the 9 Yogendras. The sage was informing Maharaj Nimi about the people's duty to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to different processes in different yugas. Moving on to verse 348. Purvavat likhi yabe gunavatar gana asankhya sankhya tanra nahaya ganana. As stated before, when I described the incarnations of the material modes, that is the guna avatars, one should consider that these incarnations also are unlimited and that no one can count them. Verse 349. Chari yugavatare eita ganana shuni bhangi kari tanre puche Sanātana. Thus I have given the description of the incarnations of the 4 different yugas. After reading all this, Sanātana Gosvāmī give an indirect hint to the Lord. Verse 350. Raja Mantri Sanātana Buddhe Brihaspati Prabhura Kripate Puche Asankoch Mati. Sanātana Gosvāmī had been a minister under Nawab Hussain Shah, and he was undoubtedly as intelligent as Brihaspati, the chief priest of the heavenly kingdom. Due to the Lord's unlimited mercy, Sanātana Gosvāmī questioned him without hesitation. Verse 351. Ati Kshudra Jiva Muni Nicha Nichachar Kemane Janib Kalite Kon Avatar. Sanātana Gosvāmī said, I am very insignificant living entity. I am low and poorly behaved. How can I understand who is the incarnation for this age of Kali? Purport. This verse is very important in reference to the incarnations of God. At present, there are especially many rascals prevalent in India who proclaim themselves incarnation of God or goddesses. Prabhupada is saying this like over 50 years ago, and we can just imagine what's the state of this Kali Yuga now. Thus they are fooling and bluffing, Prabhupada says, foolish people on behalf of the general populace. Sanātana Gosvāmī presented himself as a foolish, low-born, poorly behaved person, although he was a most exalted personality. Inferior people cannot accept the real God, yet they are very eager to accept an imitation God who can simply bluff foolish people. This is going on in this age of Kali. To guide these foolish people, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu answers the questions as follows. Verse 352. Prabhu kahe anyavatra shastra dware jani kalite avatar taiche shastra vakya mani. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, this is verse number 352. Mahaprabhu replied, as in other ages, an incarnation is accepted according to in the direction of the Shastras. In this age of Kali, an incarnation of God should be accepted in that way. Purport. According to Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, this is the way an incarnation should be accepted. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittite Kariya Akya. So, we hear so many verses again and again, and now when you go through these Shastras again, you understand them more better. No wonder they say that we have to read Bhagavad-Gita 1,000 times and 100 times at least Bhagavatam. So if we have life, the span of life, then we should try to use some of our waking hours in this pursuit as well. So Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu replied, as in other ages, incarnation is accepted according to the direction of the Shastras. In this age of Kali, an incarnation of God should be accepted in that way. According to Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, this is the way the incarnation should be accepted. Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittite Kariya Akya. One should accept a thing as genuine by studying the words of Saintly people, the spiritual master and the Shastra, the actual center is the Shastra, the revealed scripture. If a spiritual master does not speak according to the revealed scripture, he is not to be accepted. Similarly, if a saintly person does not speak according to the Shastra, therefore they accept rascals as incarnations, and consequently they have made incarnations into very cheap thing. Intelligent people who follow Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu's instructions and the instructions of the Acharya, the bona fide spiritual master, will not accept a pretender as an incarnation of God. In Kali Yuga, the only incarnation is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Imitation incarnations take advantage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord appeared within the past 500 years, played as the son of Brahmana from Nadia, and introduced the Sankirtan movement. Imitating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ignoring the Shastras, rascals present themselves as incarnations and introduce their rascaldom as a religious process. As we have repeatedly said, Prabhupada saying, religion can be given only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. From the discussions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can understand that in different ages the Supreme Lord introduces different systems and different religious duties. In this age of Kali, the only incarnation of Krishna is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he introduced the religious duty of Kali Yuga, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have to remember that with Gaura Purnima coming in few days' time, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only incarnation of Krishna in this Yuga, the Kali Yuga, and he has introduced the chanting of the Mahamantra to all the Jivas of Kali Yuga. Verse 353, and we always have a special Kali Yuga among the, the sets of the Yugas. There's a special Kali Yuga where Mahaprabhu appears. He doesn't appear in all the Kali Yugas either. So if we have taken birth in this particular Kali Yuga where Mahaprabhu came, we should think that how much benediction we have got from the providence. Verse 353, Sarvajana Munir Vakya Shastra Pramana Ama Sabha Jiver Haya Shastra Dwara Jnana. The Vedic literatures composed by the omniscient Mahamuni Vyasadeva are evidence of all spiritual existence. Only through these revealed scriptures can all conditioned souls attain knowledge. Purport: foolish people try to concoct knowledge by manufacturing something in their brains. That is not the real way of knowledge. Knowledge is Shabda Praman. Evidence from the Vedic literature. Srila Vyasadeva is called Mahamuni. He is also known as Vedavyas because he has compiled so many Shastras. He has divided the Vedas into 4 divisions: Sama, Rig, Yajur and Atharva. He has expanded the Vedas into 18 Puranas. 18 Puranas and has summarized Vedic knowledge in the Vedanta Sutra. He also compiled the Mahabharata, which is accepted as the 5th Veda. The Bhagavad-Gita is contained within the Mahabharata, therefore the Bhagavad-Gita is also Vedic literature. Smriti. Some of the Vedic literatures are called Shrutis and some are called Smritis. Sri Rupa Gosvāmī recommends in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.101. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Ekantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataev Kalpatev. Unless one refers to Shastras, that is Shruti, Smriti and Purana Adi, one's spiritual activity simply disturbs society. There is no king or government to check people, and therefore society has fallen into a chaotic condition as far as spiritual understanding is concerned. Taking advantage of this chaotic condition, many rascals have appeared and proclaimed themselves incarnations of God. As a result, the entire population is indulging in sinful activities such as illicit sex, intoxication, gambling and meat eating. Out of many sinful people, many so-called incarnations of God are also emerging. This is a very regrettable situation, especially in India. And like we're saying few verses before that, this was the situation 50 odd years ago, and now we can just imagine it has worsened in some sense and gotten better also in some sense. So it's all Krishna who is looking after these jivas, according to their karma and their desires. Verse 354, Avatar nahi kahe ami avatar, Muni sab jani kare lakshan vichar. An actual incarnation of God never says I am God or I am an incarnation of God. The great sage Vyasadeva, knowing all, has already recorded the characteristics of the avatars in the Shastras. Purport: in this verse, it is clearly stated that a real incarnation of God never claims to be real incarnation. According to the symptoms described in the Shastra, one can understand who is an avatar and who is not. Verse number 355. Yasya avatare janayante sharireshva ashariranaha tair atulya tishair viryer dehishva asangate. The Lord does not have a material body, yet he descends among the human beings in his transcendental body as an incarnation. Therefore, it is very difficult for us to understand who is an incarnation. Only by his extraordinary prowess and uncommon activities, which are impossible for embodied living entities, one can partially understand the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.10.34. Verse 356. Swarupa lakshana ara tatastha lakshana aitui lakshane vastu jane munigana. By two symptoms, personal characteristics and marginal characteristics, the great sages can understand an object. Verse 357. Akriti prakriti swarupa swarupa lakshana karya dvara jnana aitatastha lakshana. Bodily features, nature and form are the personal characteristics. Knowledge of his activities provides the marginal characteristics. Verse 358. Bhagavatarambhe vyasa mangalacharane parameshwara nirupila eidui lakshane. In the auspicious invocation at the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva has described the Supreme Personality of Godhead by these symptoms. Verse 359. Janmadi asya yato अन्वयाद इतरतश चार्थेष्व अभिजानः स्वराट तेने ब्रह्मा हृदय या आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूर्यः तेजो वारी मृदाम यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो अमृष धाम्ना स्वेना सदा निरस्त कुहकम सत्यम परम धीमहि. Dhamnas is with the abode, Svena is his own personal. Dhamna Svena. Translation: O my Lord Shri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the unmanifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Repeat that. By him, that is by the Supreme Lord, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusions. So if they are placed into illusions, what can be said about us? As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water, only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Purport: this verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, links the Srimad Bhagavatam with the Vedanta Sutra with the verse Janmadi Asyayatah. It is stated that Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva is the absolute truth beyond the material creation. This has been accepted by all the acharyas. Even Shankaracharya, the most elevated impersonalist, says in the beginning of his commentary on the Bhagavad-Gita, Narayanaha paro vyaktat avyaktat. When this material creation is not yet manifested from the Mahat Tattva, it is called avyakta, which is unmanifested. And when it is demonstrated from that total energy, it is called Vyakta. Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond the Vyakta, Avyakta, manifested and unmanifested material nature. This is the chief qualification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he assumes a particular incarnation, Krishna tells Arjuna that although they both took many birth many times before, Krishna remembers everything about his previous appearances, but Arjuna does not remember. Since Krishna is beyond the cosmic creation, he is in the exalted position of being able to remember everything in the past. Everything within the cosmic creation has a material body, but Krishna, being beyond the material cosmic creation, always has a spiritual body. He imparted Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahma. Although Brahma is the most important and exalted personality within this universe, he could not remember what he did in his past life. Krishna had to remind him through the heart. When Lord Brahma was thus inspired, he was able to create the entire universe, remembering everything about the past and inspiring Lord Brahma to create are vivid examples of the characteristics called Swarupa Lakshana and Tatastha Lakshana. So much wealth we are learning about Lord in these verses. Wealth of knowledge, rather, I should have said. Verse number 360. Eshloke param shabde Krishna nirupana satyam shabde kahe tanra swarupa lakshana. In this invocation from Srimad Bhagavatam, the word param indicates Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the word satyam indicates his personal characteristics. Verse 361. Vishwa Srishti Adi Kaila Veda Brahma ke Padaila Artha Bhijanat Swarupa Shakti Maya Dura Kaila. In that same verse, it is stated that Lord is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of the cosmic manifestation, and that he enabled Lord Brahma to create the universe by infusing him with the knowledge of the Vedas. It is also stated that the Lord has full knowledge, directly and indirectly, that he knows past, present, and future, and that his personal energy is separate from Maya, the illusory energy. Verse 362. Eish sab karya tandra tatastha lakshana anya avatar aiche jane muni gana. All these activities are his marginal characteristics. Great saintly people, persons, understand the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the indications of the two characteristics known as Swarupa and Tatastha. All the incarnations of Krishna should be understood in this way. So Tatastha Lakshana is marginal characteristics, and we know that we are the marginal energies of Lord. Maya is the inferior energy, and of course Lord has got the spiritual energy. Verse 363. Avatar kale haya jagate gochara eidui lakshane keha janiye ishvara. At the time of their appearance, the incarnations of the Lord are known in the world because people can consult the Shastras to understand incarnations' chief characteristics known as Swarupa and Tatastha. In this way, the incarnations become known to great saintly persons. Verse 364. Sanātana kahe yate Ishvara Lakshana Pita Varana Karya Prema Dana Sankirtana. Sanātana Gosvāmī said the color of the personality in whom the characteristics of the Lord are found is yellowish. His activities include the distribution of love of Godhead and the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Verse 365. Kali Kale Sai Krishna Avatar Nishchaya Sudridha Kariya Kaha Yauka Samshaya. The incarnation of Krishna for this age is indicated by these symptoms. Please confirm this definitely so that all my doubts will go away. Purpose Sanātana Gosvāmī wanted to confirm the fact that Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu is the incarnation of Krishna for this age according to the Shastra. In Kali Yuga, the Lord would assume a golden or a yellow color and would distribute love of Krishna and the Sankirtan movement in accordance with the Shastra and saintly persons. These characteristics were vividly displayed by Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and it was therefore clear that Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was an incarnation of Krishna. He was confirmed by the Shastras, and his characteristics were accepted by saintly people. Since Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu could not escape Sanātana Gosvāmī's argument, he remained silent on this point and thereby indirectly accepted Sanātana's statement. By this we can clearly understand that Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was the direct incarnation of Lord Krishna. Verse 366. Prabhu kahe chaturali chad Sanātana Shaktya Vesh Avatar Shuna Vivarana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "O Sanātana, you must give up your intelligent tricks. Now just try to understand the description of Shaktya Vesh avatars." Verse 367. Shaktya Vesh avatar Krishnera asankhya ganana digdarshanam kari mukhya jana. There are unlimited Shaktya Vesh avatars of Lord Krishna. Let me describe the chief among them. Verse 368. Shaktya Vesha Duirupa Mukhya Gauna Dekhi Sakshat Shakti Avatar Abhase Vibhuti Likhi. Empowered incarnations are of two types, primary and secondary. The primary ones are directly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are called incarnations. The secondary ones are indirectly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are called Vibhuti. So God has described there are two types of Shakti Vesha avatars, the primary and secondary. The primary are the ones directly empowered by the Supreme Lord, and the secondary ones are indirectly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are called Vibhuti. Moving on to verse number 369. Sanakadi Narada Prithu Parashuram Jiva Rupa Brahmar Aveshavatar Nam. Some Shaktavesh avatars are the four Kumars, Narad, Maharaj Prithu, and Parshuram. When a living being is empowered to act as Lord Brahma, he is also considered as Shaktavesh avatar. Verse 370. Vaikunte Shesha Dhare Dharaye Ananta E Mukhya Vashesh Avatar Vistare Nahi Anta. Lord Shesha in the spiritual world of Vaikuntha and in the material world, Lord Ananta, who carries innumerable planets on his hoods, are two primary empowered incarnations. There is no need to count the others, for they are unlimited. Verse 371. Sanakade Jnana Shakti Narade Shakti Bhakti Brahmaya Srishti Shakti Anante Bhudharana Shakti. The power of Lord was invested in the four Kumars, and the power of devotional service was invested in Narad. The power of creation was invested in Lord Brahma, and the power to carry innumerable planets was invested in Lord Ananta. So each one was differently empowered. Devotional service in the four Kumars, and Naradji, power of creation in Lord Brahma, and the power to carry innumerable planets in Lord Ananta. Verse 372. Sheshe Swasevana Shakti Prithute Palana Parashurame Dushta Nashak Virya Sancharana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead invested the power of personal service in Lord Shesha and invested the power to rule the earth in King Prithu. Lord Parshuram received the power to kill rogues and miscreants. Purport Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashayascha dushkritam. Sometimes the Lord invests his power to rule in a king like Prithu and enables such a king to kill rogues and miscreants. He also invests his power in incarnations like Parashuram. Verse 373. Jnana Shakti Adi Kalaya Yatra Vishto Janardanaha Ta Avesha Nigadyante Jiva Eva Mahatmaha. Whenever the Lord is present in someone by portions of his various potencies, the living entity representing the Lord is called Shaktavesh Avatar. That is an incarnation invested with special power. So that's a nice meaning of the Shaktavesh Avatar, incarnation invested with special power. Purport: this verse is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.18, verse 374. Vibhuti kahiye yaiche Gita ekadashe jagat vyapila Krishna Shakti abhaveshe. As explained in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna has spread himself all over the universe in many personalities through specific powers known as Vibhuti. The purport: the expansion of specific Maya powers is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.39. Verse 375. Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam Shrimad urjitam evava tat tad evagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from me but a spark of my splendor. Purport: this is a statement made by Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita 10.41. Verse 376. Athava bahunatnaitena kim jnanatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham idam Krishnam Kritsanam Ekamshena Sthito Jagat. Kritsanam means entire. But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Purport: this is a statement made by Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita 10.42. Verse 377. Eta kahilun shakti avesha avatar balya poganda dharmera shunaha vichar. The Sahib explains specifically empowered incarnations. Now please hear about the characteristics of Lord Krishna's childhood, boyhood and youth. Verse 378. Kishora Shekhara Dharmi Vrajendra Nandana Prakat Lila Karibare Yabe Kare Mana. Karibare means to perform. As the son of Maharaj Nanda, Lord Krishna is by nature the paragon of Kishore, that is youth. He chooses to exhibit his pastimes at that age. Verse 379. Adav prakata karai mata pita bhakta gane pache prakata haya janmadika lila krame. Before his personal appearance, the Lord causes some of his devotees to appear as his mother, father and intimate associates. He then appears later as if he were taking birth and growing from a baby to child and gradually into a youth. Verse 380. Vayaso vividhatve api sarva bhakti rasar ashraya dharmi kishora evatra nitya lila vilaswan. Vilaswan is the Lord, the supreme enjoyer. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally enjoying himself, and he is the shelter of all kinds of devotional service. Although his ages are various, his age known as Kishore or the pre-youth is best of all. Purport: this verse is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.63. Verse 381. Putana vadhadi yata lila kshane kshane sab lila nitya prakata kare anukrame. So in a way, all the Vraja Leelas are being told by Krishna himself, said Caitanya Mahāprabhu to Sanātana Gosvāmī here. And we are so fortunate to hear them. When Lord Krishna appears from moment to moment, he exhibits his different pastimes, beginning with the killing of Putana. All these pastimes are eternally being demonstrated one after another. Verse 382. Ananta Brahmanda Tar Nahika Ganana Kona Leela Kona Brahmande Haya Prakatana. Nahika Ganana means there is no counting. The consecutive pastimes of Krishna are being manifested in one of the innumerable universes moment after moment. There is no possibility of counting the universes, but in any case, some pastimes of Lord is being manifested at every moment in one universe or another. Verse 383. Aimata Sabalila Yena Gangadhar Sese Lila Prakat Kare Vrajendra Kumar. Thus the Lord's pastimes are like the flowing Ganges water. In this way, all the pastimes are manifested by the son of Nanda Maharaj. Verse number 384. Krame Balya Poganda Kaishorata Prapti Ras Adi Lila Kare Kaishore Nitya Sthiti. Lord Krishna exhibits his pastimes of the childhood, boyhood, and pre-youth. When he reaches pre-youth, he continues to exist eternally to perform his rasa dance and other pastimes. Purport: the comparison made here is very interesting. Krishna does not grow like an ordinary human being. Even though he exhibits his pastimes of childhood, boyhood, and pre-youth, when he reaches the age of pre-youth, Kaishora, he does not grow any older. He simply remains in his Kaishora age. He is therefore described in the Brahma Samhita 5.33 as Nava-Yavana, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Puran Purusham Nava-Yauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This Nava-Yauvana or pre-youth is the eternal transcendental form of Krishna. Krishna never grows older than Nava-Yauvan. Verse 385. Nitya Lila Krishnera Sarva Shastra Ekaya. This is verse 385. Bhujite na pare lila kemane nitya haya. Descriptions of Krishna's eternal pastimes are in all the revealed scriptures, but one cannot understand how they are continuing eternally. And of course, people do wonder how Krishna stays eternally in a pre-youth state as well. Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse number 386. Drishtant diya kahi tabe loka yadi jane. Krishna Leela Nitya Jyotish Chakra Pramani. Let me give an example by which people may understand Lord Krishna's eternal pastime. An example can be found in the Zodiac, verse 387. Jyotish Chakre Surya Yena Fire Ratri Dine Sapt Dvipam Buddhi Langi Fire Krame Krame. The sun moves across the zodiac day and night and crosses the oceans between the 7 islands, one after the other. Verse 388. Ratri Dine Haya Shashti Danda Parimana Tina Sahasra Chaya Shat Palataran Mana. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, the rotations of the sun consists of 60 dandas and it is divided into 3600 palas. Sun is 60 dandas and is divided into 3600 palas. So, Shashti Danda of 60 dandas is a measure of time, and Pala is the palas. Verse 389. Suryoda Haite Shashti Pala Kramodaya Se Ek Danda Ashta Dande Praharahaya. The sun rises in steps consisting of 60 palas. 60 palas equal 1 danda and 8 dandas comprise 1 prahara. Verse 390. Ekadui Tina Chari Prahare Ashtahaya Chari Prahara Ratri Gele Punah Suryodaya. The day and night are divided into 8 prahars, 4 belonging to the day, 4 belonging to the night. After 8 prahars, the sun rises again. I think this much we all know. The previous ones, the Danda Palas, we are not quite well versed with because we are the Jivas of Kali Yuga. Our knowledge is very limited. Verse 391. Aiche Krishnera Lila Mandala Lila Mandala 14 Manvantare Brahmanda Mandal Vyapi Krame Fire. Just as there is an orbit of the sun, there is an orbit of Krishna's pastimes which are manifested one after the other. During the lifetime of 14 Manus, this orbit expands through all the universes and gradually it returns. Thus Krishna moves with his pastimes through all the universes one after the other. So such a beautiful translation here that Krishna's pastimes also have an orbit and they manifest one after the other. So during the lifetimes of 14 Manus, this orbit expands through all the universes. Gradually it returns. Thus Krishna moves with his pastimes throughout all the universes, one after another. So every universe is blessed with Krishna's pastimes. Verse 392. Sayoyashta Vatsra Krishnera Prakata Prakash Taha Yaiche Vraja Pure Karila Vilas. Krishna remains within a universe for 125 years and he enjoys his pastimes both in Vrindavan and Dwarka. Verse 393. Alat Chakra Praya se lila chakra phire sab lila sab brahmande krame udaya kare. The cycle of his pastimes turns like a wheel of fire. Thus Krishna exhibits his pastimes one after the other in every universe. Verse number 394. Janma Balya Paganda Keshor Prakash Putana Vadhati Kari Moshalant Vilas. Krishna's pastime, appearance, childhood, boyhood and youth are all manifested beginning with the killing of Putana and extending at the end of the Moshal Lila, the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. So all of these pastimes are rotating in every universe. So God knows how many universes our soul has been, and I'm sure there are some exalted devotees who have been, in many universes where these pastimes have taken place. Verse 395. Kona Brahmande kon lila rahaya avasthana tate lila nitya kahe agam puran. Since all Krishna's pastimes are taking place continuously, at every moment some pastime is existing in one universe or another. Consequently, these pastimes are called eternal by the Vedas and Purans. Verse 396. Golok Gokula Dham Vibhu Krishna Sama Krishne Chaya Brahmanda Gane Tahara Sankrama. Sankrama means appearance. The spiritual abode known as Golok, which is pasturing land for Surabhi cows, is as powerful and as opulent as Krishna. By the will of Krishna, the original Golok and Gokul Dhams are manifested with him in all the universes. Verse 397. Ataiva Golok Sthane Nitya Vihara Brahmanda Gane Krame Prakatya Tahar. The eternal pastimes of Krishna are continuously taking place in the original Golok Vrindavan planet. These same pastimes are gradually manifested within the material world in each and every Brahmand. Purport Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur elucidates this complicated explanation of Krishna's pastimes. Krishna's pastimes are always present in the material world in one of the many universes. These pastimes appear in the universes one after the other. Just as the sun moves across the sky and measures the time, Krishna's appearance may be manifested in this universe at one moment, and immediately after his birth, his pastime is manifested in the next universe. After his killing of Putana is manifested in this universe, it is manifested in another universe. Thus all the pastimes of Krishna are eternally existing both in the original Golok Vrindavan planet and in the material universes. The 125 years calculated in our solar system to be Krishna's lifetime equal one moment for Krishna. So 125 years of our earthly year is just a moment for Krishna. One moment these pastimes are manifested in one universe, and the next moment they are manifested in the next universe. These are unlimited universes, and Krishna's pastimes are manifested one moment after the other in all of them. This rotation is explained through the example of the sun moving across the sky. Krishna appears and disappears in innumerable universes. Just as the sun appears and disappears during the day, although the sun appears to rise and set, it is continuously shining somewhere on the earth. Similarly, although Krishna's pastimes seem to appear and disappear, they are continuously existing in one Brahmand, that is the universe, or another. Thus, all the Krishna's Leelas are present simultaneously throughout the innumerable universes. By our limited senses, we cannot appreciate this. Therefore, Krishna's eternal pastimes are very difficult for us to understand. One should try to understand how they are taking place by understanding the example of the sun. Although the Lord is appearing constantly in the material universes, his pastimes are eternally present in the original Golok Vrindavan. Therefore, these pastimes are called Nitya Lila, eternally present pastimes. Because we cannot see what is going on in other universes, it is a little difficult for us to understand how Krishna is eternally manifesting his pastimes. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and this time calculation is also taking place in other universes. Krishna's pastimes are manifested before 14 Manus expire. Although it is a little difficult to understand the eternal pastimes of Krishna in this way, we must accept the verdict of the Vedic literatures. There are two types of devotees, the sadhak who is preparing for perfection and the siddha who is already perfect. As far as those who are already perfect are concerned, Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad-Gita 4.9, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti. So Arjuna, after giving up this material body, such a devotee comes to me. After leaving the material body, the perfect devotee takes birth from the womb of a gopi on a planet where Krishna's pastimes are going on. This may be in this universe or another universe. This statement is found in the Ujjwal Neelamani, which is commented upon by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When a devotee becomes perfect, he is transferred to a universe where Krishna's pastimes are taking place. Krishna's eternal associates go wherever Krishna manifests his pastime. As stated before, first the father and mother of Krishna appear, then other associates. Quitting his material body, the perfect devotee also goes to associate with Krishna and his other associates. So this verse 397 can be quoted to explain a lot of confusions of people. If you want to quote verse number 398, Vraje Krishna Sarveshwarya Prakashe Purnatma Puri Dvaye Paravyome Purnatra Purna. Krishna is complete in the spiritual sky, which is Vaikuntha. He is more complete in Mathura and Dwarka, and he is complete in Vrindavan, Vraja, due to his manifesting all his opulences. Purport: this is confirmed in the following three verses from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 2.1.221 to 223. Moving on to verse number 399. Harihi Purnatmaha Purna Taraha Purna iti Tridha Shrestha Madhyadibhihi Shabdair Natye Yaha Paripathyate. This is stated in the dramatic literatures as perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Thus, Lord Krishna manifests himself in three ways: perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. So he is perfect in the Vaikuntha sky, and he is more perfect in Dwarka and Mathura, and he is most perfect in Vrindavan. Verse 400. Prakashita Kila Gunaha Smritaha Purnatmo Budhaye Asarva Vyanjakaha Purnaha Taraha Purno Alpa Darshakaha. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not manifest all his transcendental qualities, he is called complete. When all the qualities are manifested but not fully, he is called more complete. When he manifests all his qualities in fullness, he is called most complete. This is the version of all learned scholars in the devotional service. Verse 401. Krishnasya Purnat Mata Vyakta Bhud Gokulantare Purnata Purnantarta Dwarka Mathura Dishu. The most complete qualities of Krishna are manifested within Vrindavan, and his complete and more complete qualities are manifested in Dwarka and Mathura. Verse 402. E Krishna Vraje Purnatma Bhagwan Ar Sabaswarupa Purnatra Purnanam. Purnatara is more complete and Purna is complete. Lord Krishna is the most complete Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vrindavan. Elsewhere, all his expansions are either complete or more complete. Verse 403. Sankshepe kahilun Krishnera Swarup Vichar Ananta kahite Nare Ihar Vistar. Thus, I have briefly described Krishna's manifestation of transcendental forms. This subject matter is so large that even Lord Ananta cannot describe it fully. Verse 404. Ananta Sarupa Krishnera Naika Ganana Shakha Chandra Nyaye Kari Dig Darshana. In this way, Krishna's transcendental forms are expanded unlimitedly. No one can count them. Whatever I have explained is simply a little glimpse. It is like showing the moon through the branches of a tree. Verse 405. Ihaye shune pade se bhagyavan Krishnera Sarup tatvera haye kichu gyan. Whoever hears or recites these descriptions of the expansions of Krishna's body is certainly a very fortunate man. Although this is very difficult to understand, one can nonetheless acquire some knowledge about the different features of Krishna's body. Excuse me, for verse 406. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pate Yar Ash Caitanya Charitamrit Kahe Krishnadas, praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Shri Caitanya Charitamrit, following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to Shri Caitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Lila, 20th chapter, describing how Sanātana Gosvāmī met the Lord at Varanasi and received knowledge of the absolute truth. So thank you for joining. This chapter has taken us a long time to conclude. So at last we have been able to. And next time we shall begin chapter number 21 of the Madhya Lila. Thank you for joining. Harim Tat Sat and Hare Krishna. And happy Amal Ki Ekadashi to the ones who are celebrating today, observing today, fasting today. It's in Indian subcontinent. This is what I know. And here in our side of in the Western world, we are going to observe it tomorrow on the Mahāprabhu. So, looking forward to the Gaura Purnima like all of you. Hariam Tat Sat, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī ki Jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol.